This meeting will now come to order. This is the Laverne Board of Zoning Appeals, July 30th through 13th, 5:30 p.m. meeting. I will call the meeting to order. We have a full attendance here, so we do have a quorum. The first item of business here is to approve the minutes for June 25th regular meeting. Have all the members had an opportunity to go over those minutes?
Yes.
We have a motion to approve. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? None. Minutes are approved. We have quite a bit of business this evening, a lot of new business. Item number 1, rear setback variance, 153 Lake Point Drive, property owned by Martina and Matt Gardner. Is there someone here from the property? Would you take the podium, please? Would you raise your right hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. State your name and address, please.
It's Robert Matthew Garner. I live at 153 Lake Point Road in Laverne.
Thank you. May we have your report?
Certainly. The applicants live at 153 Lake Point Drive. They were beginning to construct a swimming pool in the backyard, and they were informed that they actually were a little bit shy. An accessory structure needs to be 10 feet off the rear property line, and they are about 8 feet off. And the codes department realized that, and so we consulted with them, and they are in the Hampton Road subdivision, which is an R1 district. You can see their lot up there. They actually front Lake Point, so the large area to the side is actually their side yard, and the pool needs to go here, and it needs to have 10 feet. And as you can see, they have almost no backyard. They've got a double frontage lot. They have a large area of septic drain field area in here, and then they also have a large easement, a gas line easement. So they're really limited in where they're able to locate. Well, they were limited in where they were locating the house in the first place. You can see there that's their plat. They have almost the entire lot is encumbered with some sort of obstruction. So there was almost no place for them to put the house in the first place, and that limited the area that they could put the swimming pool. This is their general layout. As you can see, we've got the little fire pit, there's the pool, and there's only 8 feet here. We've got more than plenty to the side. So you can see where that's their large side yard. That's the front. That's the frontage along Annawalt Court. And then that you can see where they've got the tree line and the rear. There's almost no area back there. So they fit it in as well as they could based on how far they could bring it to the house with the septic there. So is that fairly accurate, Mr. Garner?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you. Mr. Gardner, do you have a statement you would like to make?
No, sir. I think she covered it very well. I mean, because we are a corner lot on a cul-de-sac, it is an odd-shaped lot. And you're just trying to get it in between the septic backfill area there and the gas line easement. There was a small area to put it in. Apparently, we were 2 feet off. So.
Oh, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thanks, sir.
Excuse me. Any board members have any questions they would like to ask Mr. Gardner? No question?
No question.
You may be seated.
Thanks.
Do we have anybody in attendance that would like to speak either for or against this petition? There being none, does the board have any discussion?
I have a question for staff. Was this called at the beginning of the permit process or after?
Good question. They had contacted me back in like January, and so they were aware that they were probably going to need to have a variance. Their contractor actually went to Smyrna instead of Laverne, and in Smyrna apparently you have to have a 5-foot separation only. So they unbeknownst to the Garners, they thought that the contractor had gone and had everything, all the ducks in a row, but obviously that was not the case, and so they have tried to remedy it. They stopped construction of the pool. It's been sitting there in that state for over a month. So they've been in compliance since they were aware that their contractor had made an error. So.
Did that answer your question? Okay. Any other questions at all? I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove. You have a question, Green?
Yeah, just a quick, so we're saying it's a rear or side variance?
It's a rear.
Rear side.
Not rear. So the rear should be 25 feet, what I want. Correct?
Well, it should be, because it's an accessory structure, it's supposed to be 10 feet off the line, and it's gonna be 8. So, they almost made it.
Mhm. I'll entertain a motion to either approve or disapprove the petition.
Make motion to accept the
We have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. We'll take a vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? None. Congratulations. You're in compliance. Item number 2 of new business, 154 Bill Stewart Boulevard, R2S zoning district, property owned by Bonnie Lee Smith. Okay.
We're having a slight problem with the remote.
Oh, okay. Okay. There you go. For item number 2, Kristen, we may have your report, please.
Sure. Miss Bonnie Lee Smith lives at 154 Bill Stewart Boulevard, which is tax map 6N, Group B, parcel 50. It's in Lake Forest subdivision, and it is, her lot is 0.27 acres. It is zoned R2S, which is a grandfathered, medium-density residential district that we no longer have. And she had asked to upgrade her deck and was told that she did not have the required 10-foot separation between the rear property line and the structure. And she actually purchased this house. You can see the aerial there that the, again, this is similar to the last case. It's a double frontage lot, and because her address is Bill Stewart, that's considered the front, so that is the rear. And she should have 10 feet between, and she only has 6. I made a note in my report that it's possible that when the house was built, because it was a double frontage lot, they may have thought that this was going to be the front, in which case that would have been the rear, and there would have been plenty of room. However, because the address is Bill Stewart, that makes the front frontage along Bill Stewart as well. So Miss Smith bought the house in the fall of 2012. The deck had been in place, presumably for a long time. The house was built in 1994. So she just wanted to, she wants to keep the deck. She wasn't aware that it was actually a violation because it's encroaching into the rear yard, and a variance of roughly 4 feet would allow her to keep the deck as is, which is what she would like. And again, this is the R2S district, so it's a really narrow lot. That's the deck as it is. It's just got some lattice on the bottom. That's looking at it from the other side. It's really dark, sorry. Again, there's the double frontage, and if I can get this to work. Okay. The next one is what we're really aiming for here. Okay, you can kind of see, yeah, and it's, you know, it's already enclosed with a deck. And then the neighbors actually have another one of their own, so, yeah. So she's lacking 4 feet, and she would like the variance. She didn't even know, again, that it was an encroachment when she purchased the house.
Is Bonnie Lee Smith here? Would you take the podium, please?
Just a quick question, is again, R2 is 20 feet, so it's almost accessory structure as well?
Well,
20 feet.
it's,
Make sure we get correct records.
right, the accessory structure, because it's a deck, it's not considered part of the footprint, so it can go into the yard, but it still has to be 10 foot off the rear property line, which it's not.
Would you raise your hand, please? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Thank you. You may lower your hand. You have a statement to make, please.
I came from a house that was twice the size of that one. I just wanted to enclose the deck for a little more space.
Okay. I noticed between the first picture and the way it is right now, you've already removed the awning that was up there.
There was no awning up
I
there.
I saw an awning, and also you replaced some of the side of the deck.
Yes.
And the stairs, instead of going this way, go the other way.
Right,
now. Yeah,
right.
I saw that, okay. If the board members have any questions?
Ed, on the question, you say in the application that the neighbour is okay with it, are you referring to the neighbour that will be looking onto this?
Right, yes,
Are you going to enclose it for living space or?
yes. I like to entertain and I'm too cramped. So, yes, I'm going to use it for living space.
Is it going to have a flat roof, or what kind of roof is it going to have? Where's the water going to drain?
Basically flat. It'll drain towards the fence.
Toward the fence?
Mm-hmm.
The water won't create a problem for your neighbors?
No,
Okay.
What about this optional fireplace?
it's going to be, house one of the Amish electric heaters because I don't have gas.
The planned colours are being consistent with the home?
Yes, same siding.
Are there any other questions? You may be seated, please.
Okay.
Do we have anyone here in attendance that would like to speak either for or against this petition? There being none, we will close the public hearing. I will entertain a motion to either approve or disapprove this petition.
Motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Second.
We have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations. Number 3 is also a setback variance, a front setback variance. This is for 501 Dick Buchanan Street, and the property is owned by Lehman Hong. May we have your report, please?
Certainly. 501 Dick Buchanan Street was the subject of the Planning Commission last month. The owners wanting to subdivide the lot. He's got an existing cabinet shop there. It's, the parcel is 1.35 acres. It is zoned I-1. And during the subdivision process, it was revealed that there's not enough right-of-way along Dick Buchanan. There should be 60 feet, and currently there's more like 40. So in order to proceed with the subdivision, the applicant had to dedicate 10-foot right-of-way from the property. And by doing so, that was going to place the front of the existing building about 7.5 feet into the right-of-way. Into the setback, the front setback. So, as you can see from these photos, you can see where the telephone poles are. You can see Dick Buchanan is just extremely narrow, and that's really all right-of-way. So, that's looking towards Sand Hill. That's across the street. There's the cabinet shop. So, it's going to be sitting about 7.5 feet in the setback, and the structure's been there since 1985, so it was probably at the time that it was constructed, it was not in the front setback, but now with the 10-foot dedication, it will be 7.5 feet into the front setback.
Oh, okay. When we speak to representative of that, would you leave that slide on, please?
This one?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Do we have a Lehman Hong or a representative present for that property? would you raise your right hand? You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
Yes.
State your name and address.
Andrew Steele, 131 43rd Avenue, Nashville. I'm here on behalf of Huddleston Steel Engineering for the engineer for this.
In what capacity are you representing them? Are you
We're the
contractor or attorney? Or?
we're the consultant for the subdivision, and then also we put together the variance request.
Oh, okay. Do you have a statement you'd like to make?
I think Kristen pretty much covered it. It's just because of the dedication of right-of-way, it's going to put, previously it was outside the setback. It's going to place it into the setback after the subdivision.
Okay, the reason I asked to have that slide remain on there, do you know of any plans whatsoever where they plan on putting an addition to that building on the front, a porch extension of any kind?
I'm not aware of any plans to modify the building.
Okay. Any questions from the board members?
I do have one, just it's more a question. The building, if we gave the right of way, the building is torn down, then the request that we give tonight would only be good for that building. The building's got to be out of the right of way.
Correct.
So if the building is ever removed, that negates the variance.
Correct.
Good. Any other questions? You may be seated. Thank you. Is there anybody in attendance tonight that would like to speak for or against the petition, please? There being none, I will entertain a motion to either approve or deny the petition.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been made a motion and seconded. We'll have a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? It's approved. Thank you. The next one has to deal, they're fairly related, so we'll talk about them all together, but we will vote for each request for variance individually. Driveway variance for Speedway Gasoline Petroleum Company. They're going to have their gas station. Sign variance for fuel canopy signs, and an overlay district variance for decorative streetlights and light pole requirements. If you like, Kristen, you address all three of those if you'd like.
Absolutely. Actually, we are going to only be looking at 2 of the 3 that are on your agenda. It turned out that the first one for Speedway, the driveway variance, actually is not needed. We had been working off of a preliminary drawing, and they have since submitted their official site plan for the August Planning Commission meeting, and they have fixed the driveway widths so that they meet the code's requirement.
Okay.
So that one we can eliminate.
All right.
And we'll move along to the sign ordinance requirements for commercial areas. We do have the Speedway representative, Mr. Jonathan Woker, here. The Speedway is proposed to go at 5540 Murfreesboro Road, tax map 18F, Group B, Parcel 1. It is approximately 7 acres, and it's in the C2 zoning district. It's owned by Webb Real Estate Partnership. And this acreage is also in the Murfreesboro Road overlay, streetscape overlay district, which requires higher standards. And in the application, if I can get this moving, okay. In the second request here that we have for the signage, they are proposing 2 fueling stations, one in the front for passenger cars and then one in the rear for large trucks. And they are asking for the Speedway signage right here to be on 2 sides of the canopies. So this is a good rendering right here. And technically, you can have one sign per structure, and they're asking for one on either side.
Facing different directions.
Facing the different directions. In fact, the ones in the rear, behind the site, you won't be able to see because it'll be behind the building. But as you can see, we've got the right elevation. From the right, you can see you'll have that and that. And then on the opposite side, you'll have 2 more. So technically, they're only allowed to have 1 per structure, and they're asking for 2 per structure. And then if we move to, and this is just a detail here, it's your standard corporate signage for gas stations, and that's the site right there. This is looking at, it's the intersection of Fergus and Murfreesboro. That's the Exxon on the run directly
Right.
across the street. And as you can see, sort of, we've got a sign there, we've got another one there, and then there's a couple little more logos that they've got. There's a detail. There's the kangaroo. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4. They've got a bunch. So it's your standard gas station typical signage. And when the sign ordinance was rewritten a couple years ago, I don't think that they adequately took into account gas stations because they do have such standardized corporate signage that's required. And I was actually working on an amendment for that over the last couple months, thinking that we would eventually get to this point, and the sign ordinance might be a problem for an incoming fueling station. And then the next variance request was to not have to participate in the decorative lighting and street poles requirement, because again, they are a gas station. They don't feel that the required, either the Hall of Fame Washington or the Hadco Acorn type fixtures would really be suitable for the site. And it's across the street. We've got the typical overhead lighting. So they were proposing to do something similar between a couple of poles, a couple of building mounted soffits, and the canopy internal LED lighting. So I'm sure Mr. Woker can give you some more information about the types of lighting that they were considering for the site.
Okay. Is that it?
That's it.
Okay. I have one question, and I hope it's not considered nitpicky, but one of the things that concerns me is when we receive an application and they refer to an existing commercial entity, we don't look at things as another entity setting a precedent, do we? We take a look at these, the city takes a look at these on the individual merits of that particular plan, do we not?
We do, however, because when somebody asks for a variance, if what they're asking for is in keeping with the surrounding area and it will not be injurious or not harmonious with the surrounding character of the area, I think those are things that you can take into account, certainly.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Okay, the representative here, please. Take the podium, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. Would you state your name and address, please?
My name is Jonathan Woker. I'm a planner with McBride Dale Clarion. My address is 5725 Dragon Way, Suite 220, Cincinnati, Ohio, 45227. And I am, as I said, a planner representing Speedway. Speedway is a gasoline convenience store company. It's new to the market here in the Nashville area. We're currently working on multiple projects surrounding the Nashville area and have multiple applications being processed. So hopefully you'll be buying a lot of gas in the near future. I wanted to introduce Speedway as a convenience store company because you may not be familiar with them. They do have stations throughout the Midwest. We are asking for the 2 variances, as the city planner explained. The first variance has to do with the canopy signage. We do have 2 canopies. We have a canopy in front that's for passenger fuel, and then a canopy to the rear. I do have a colored rendering, which is a little bit easier to see than the full blow-up. So It's a rather large site that we have. However, the southern portion, which is back here, is really constrained by some topography and some easements. So the fueling canopy for passengers is here, and then for the commercial fueling is to the rear. We are asking for approval to have multiple signs on the canopy, and this is the same that you saw before. So we would have our logo and then the speedway on each side of the canopy, and then this is the commercial fueling canopy, again, the logo and the speedway in the back. For all practical purposes, those canopy signs for the commercial fueling are really for the trucks. They won't be highly visible from the street. I would also point out that our proposed sign plan is for the other signs. For the freestanding sign, for example, is less than the maximum allowed, and our wall sign on the store is well under the maximum allowed as well. So bring that to the board's attention, that we're not maximizing our signs in other places. We feel we're trying to balance our signage. And in response to your question, and I think Kristen answered it the same way I did, we pointed out the fueling station across the street for a character reference. Mostly, what would this variance do to the character of the area? And we feel that it would not be injurious or detrimental to the character, because there are fuel centers in the area that have multiple signs on the canopy and on the store. So I can answer more questions about the canopy signage. Related to the lighting, Speedway has a very defined lighting program that's created to provide safety and access and visibility under the canopy. And we're not confident that the proposed structure, the decorative fixture, would accomplish that. It's very similar to the type of fixture that was shown in the photograph. It's a 16-foot approximately pole sign. Light pole. It's a cutoff fixture. It's very energy efficient. It's an LED fixture, and is down directed, so it doesn't spill into the area. I would point out although it's zoned commercial, it's a relatively industrial area. There's a gas transmission facility to the one side of us, and an industrial type facility to the other side. So we don't feel that this request is inappropriate. So I can answer questions if you have them. We've been working with your staff and hope to be at Planning Commission next month for approval of the site plans.
Questions?
I do. The Exxon station has been there for several years. And the upgrade we were doing with what we put in variance for, we put an after the fact. So although I understand your concern about the commercial area, I would like to see Speedway as a new group come in and set up the plate a bit more and be more in line with what our regulations are today. Using the one across the street, if you put in there for excess of 10 years, is poor excuse.
Well, I think that if you look at the amount of signage that we're asking for, the Speedway words themselves, the structure would be allowed 100 square feet, and we are asking for 93. We are putting them on either side of the canopy, and that's to be oriented to the traffic. The signage on the truck fueling canopy really is oriented to our internal truck customers. So we don't feel that the request is out of character. I think that this is very consistent with other gas stations, and we would ask you to support that.
Maybe you stand that. I'm not talking about the sign variance.
Okay.
I'm talking about the overlay one I'm referring to.
Oh, okay, so the decorative lights.
I mean, well, what we're trying to promote with the overlay was to try and promote, the main thoroughfares through, and there are vacant lots either side of you coming along, and we would ask the same people to do the same thing. So I don't want to be consistent with having the same issue all along.
Well, and looking at the wording of the ordinance, it says property owner may be required by the Planning Commission to install ornamental street lighting. It's not a pedestrian-oriented area. There are no lights of a similar character anywhere in the vicinity. And, you know, frankly, in looking at the strict reading of the regulation, I'm not sure that they are required, that they may be required. And working with your staff, we decided it was appropriate to ask for that. And I'm not sure that the whole site would be required to have decorative or just the street portion. So we want to be a good business customer and come in and ask for the right approvals. We just don't feel that these decorative lighting fixtures are appropriate for this site and for our use.
Are you aware of a sidewalk going on down that road in time?
We are installing a sidewalk. And we considered asking for a variance. It will be difficult for us to do that given the grades, but we think that it's appropriate to meet your codes. We've changed our building material. Our typical building material is a quick brick design, and we are complying with the city's overlay district requirement, which is for a baked clay brick. We are doing that, and we feel our architecture complies with your standards as well. So we are asking for a deviation, possibly, you know, depending on how you read it. It says may, but we think it's a reasonable request given the commercial nature of our business.
Percentage-wise, the whole property and personal property in the building, putting several lights, what's the percentage?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
The value of the property and the value that you're going to put into the building is X. To put in some lights that meet our codes is Y. A very small percent, very, very small percent as far as I'm concerned.
Well, and I'm not sure I can tell you the percentage. I guess I would ask the board to clarify what your code requires us to do.
But I would like to see you put some lighting in that is a start on that hill, so when we continue down the hill or up the hill, and it can be consistent down the road. Maybe the first, stand out from people across the street.
Okay, and so I guess I didn't ask my question clearly. Would we be required to have those decorative feature lights along the street frontage or for our site lighting?
I would interpret it as the street frontage.
Street frontage, okay.
If I may inject something here, I think the point that needs to be made here is that what we're looking at is consistency along the thoroughfare for appearance purposes, with what would enhance the city of Laverne. And I would take the position that Mr. Coates has said that we need to have those decorative lights along the street. On the property, I can understand you have the HID lights or whatever lights that you have there for illuminating the fueling and all that. But street-wise, on the frontage there, I would say, I would think that you would want to have the decorative lights so that when the properties on either side of your property there would be developed, they too would have that, and that would enhance the area.
So just so I'm clear, the board's interpretation is that the decorative street lighting would be required along the right-of-way, in the right-of-way?
In the right-of-way.
In the right-of-way. And so we would be, how many of those lights would we be required to install? I don't believe there is a standard. And we can work with staff on that. Our understanding was that there were requirements for site lights as well. So I've presented the request. If the board is going to not approve that, then we can install the street lights if that's what you're going to make us do.
Well, that's what I'd like to see.
Yeah, I agree, yeah.
What staff, the site ordinance is derived and put together, so you have some abilities to move different directions. I mean, this board here, it's along the thoroughfare, work staff to give us a product that you and we as a city will travel. The amount of money we put in the property, I think is what I'm saying.
Okay.
Board members have any further questions?
I have a question about the signs. The LED lights on the signs on the building,
They're internally illuminated. They're not LED.
they're not the real bright ones that you go down the road and find people driving by.
No, I mean that's a judgment call. I don't consider them bright. I mean, they are can lights. They're internally illuminated, so they would have a cover on them. They're backlit, internally illuminated. Yeah, that's right.
Because the drawing is turned in. and
Yeah.
misleading.
You're seeing the inside, and then there's a cover on the top of that. I'm sorry.
Any other questions? Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you.
Are there any visitors here to this hearing, either for or against the petitions as presented? I see none. We will vote on each of these individually. We will vote first for number 5, the sign variance for fuel canopy signs. And all those, let me hear a motion to either approve or deny the petition for number 5, please.
Make a motion to accept the sign variance as submitted for number 5.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
It has been motioned and second to accept the number 5 sign variance. We'll take a vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Number 5 passes. On number 6, overlay district variance for decorative streetlights and light pole requirements. May I hear a motion to either accept or deny this petition, please?
Chairman, I make a motion to deny as submitted.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
There has been motion and second at
Discussion on, so I just want to just encourage the applicant, although where the vote goes, if it goes, is to get back to some, work with some, and come back with a plan, so we can then review it and come back.
based on the discussion earlier, I think the board supports that position. So we have a motion and a second to deny that petition. And it is also noted that the representatives note the comments that were made at this meeting. We will take a vote now. All those in favor of denying the petition signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Number 6, overlay district variance is denied. Is there any business to bring forward to this Board of Zoning Appeals? There being none, this meeting is adjourned.